I am going to nerd out right now. So if you want to avoid technical talk about card games, run to the hills. Just run. I will not shoot you. I will not do anything. Just run. I will let you go. Interesting now that even in Magic the Gathering, you have other limits besides cards like mana. But big drawing tools like Necroponence or other cards are still often too OP. Yes, but the thing is, Magic is miles more balanced than Yu-Gi-Oh! And I will tell you why. Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to have 30 turns on average, sometimes 20. Back in the year 2000, it was so fun. It was a slow game, a slow burn. Nowadays, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has an average of 1 to 2 turns. No, I did not stutter. 1 to 2 turns. Sometimes the game starts without the other player doing a single move. And that's why I hate the system that Yu-Gi-Oh! Uses. It uses a soft system for limiting moves. It limits the number of times you can use a card per turn. Magic, even though it's not a perfect game, it still has a lot of potential, and the games are still slow, in a good way. The games can still last for 10 turns, or even 20. For my game, I'm limiting the number of things you can do, because cards that are good actually burn. So if you use a good card, the card can only be used once per game. It is destroyed. So it limits the number of times you can use the card in the game. And some cards even require you to pay a price. You take 5 damage, you take 7 damage, or you discard 5 cards. So it's always forcing you to think ahead, because it limits the number of times you can do things. I still think the idea I have for the game can break quite easily. I have to be careful.
Playing Exodia in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be so incredibly hype if you manage to win. Slay the Spire is the game I play when my brain is fried. And then there are people that calculate probabilities and card or enemy pools.
I'm them. Okay, let's go back to the theory of card games. The first deck I made when I was playing offline is a Rage and Anger deck. The Rage allows you to gain block every time you attack. And the Anger allows you to attack for free, because it's a free card. And you add a new copy of Anger every time you play it. The thing is, this deck can be a problem. And I'll tell you why. Because the theory of card games, you want to draw as many cards as possible, because it's a free card, and it's a weak card. So you want a lot of cards that allow you to draw. So it's a draw engine, like this one, the Battle Trance. The thing is, if you use Rage too much, then you also need a way to remove cards from your hand. Because you don't want to only have Rage cards. Because if you only have Rage cards, you have no draw engines. And that's the fun part about learning how card games work. And that's also, by the way, that's also the reason why I changed my game to have monsters, the Steve cards. Because the players would always end the game having too many cards in the hand. They did not have enough cards to use. So I added a whole new board, so people could always spend cards that they get in their hand.
I love indie deck builder roguelike slap.
Hey, I'm making one of those. And it's just like Maxi. Maxi in Yu-Gi-Oh! Allows you to draw a card every time someone special summons a monster. Which is horrible. I hate Maxi. I think it should be banned. Because everyone uses Maxi. And if everyone uses Maxi, that means the game becomes that. It's stupid, game-wise. Because the thing is, if everyone is using the same deck, and using the same card, then what's the point of having a card game?
9 viewers but only 5 likes. We're failing Ivory as a community SMH.
No, I'm failing you. I'm failing you because I'm nerding out. I'm talking too much about card games. I'm sorry. I will not change. I will do the same thing next week. Card games today. Card games tomorrow. Card games the day after tomorrow.
I love when you nerd out about card games, it's awesome.
No, don't lie to me. I know when I talk about card games, I lose 1 viewer per minute.
Maxi is the only way to make my Exodia deck semi-viable.
No, you fool! You fool! You are talking to someone who had a main Exodia deck. I'll tell you why. You don't need Maxi. Maxi is the tool of the week. When I played my Exodia deck back in 2018, I never, not even a single time, went to the dark side of Maxi. I would always use cards that would allow me to destroy my hand at the end of the turn. I forgot the name of the card. There's one that allows you to draw 5 cards, and at the end of the turn, you lose 5 cards, or your whole hand. The thing is, if you know how to make a deck around that, it's many times better than Maxi, because you don't actually have to worry about any kind of condition. You can take your own time and your own pace. You don't depend on your opponent. Also, by the way, the reason why it worked, even though I was discarding my hand, is because I was using a variation of Exodia that allows me to summon a boss monster based on Exodia. And I would use the Exodia cards to do the actions, and it would bounce back to my hands at the end of the turn. People who don't know Yu-Gi-Oh! Are probably just confused. Don't worry, even people who know Yu-Gi-Oh! Are confused. Banana, they're not. No, it's not Exodia Necros, it's another one. One that got released back in 2018. Yes, the test broke. Let me check.
Or Legendary Exodia.
Let me check the name. It might be Legendary Exodia. Yes, it is Legendary Exodia.
I have all of them.
As you should, I love Exodia. I love Exodia more than I love Blue Eyes White Dragons. You know, everyone jokes about Kaiba loving dragons too much. I'll tell you what, he doesn't love them enough. He doesn't love the dragons the same way I love Exodia.
I play Exodia. In modern day I have more expertise at this point in time. Also, the legendary Exodia Incarnate is one of the only cards that allows me to semi-stall turns to draw the 5 pieces through any strategy that I manage to draw.
Also, that's one of the reasons why I love the legendary Exodia deck. That's because it slows down the game. It forces the game to be at least 5 turns, maybe 7. And it brings me tears to my eyes when Yu-Gi-Oh! Games last for more than 1 turn. And one thing I like about Slay the Spire, it never tells you no. For example, you can always skip the card. You can always pick the card. There's no limit. You can always, by accident, making the worst deck possible. Because since the game never tells you no, you can always by accident adding a card that breaks your rhythm and your strategy. There was a run. I added so many rage cards into my deck. I basically killed my own run because I had no options any turn.
I went up
What game
against a
is it?
burn deck that put 5 cards on the field, and every time they flipped face up it would add a token to a trap card that would do 900 damage per token at the end of their turn, with every card having a flip effect that would negate card effects.
And that's why Yu-Gi-Oh! Is so hard to understand. There's always a but. You can never do something, there's always a negation, there's always a flip effect. There's always a trap card. And I think that's also why Magic is so much more popular. The game lets you play it itself. There's nothing preventing you from having fun. Because if anyone here in chat tried playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For the first time, you would not be able to do anything. You would lose in 1 turn. And if you try playing a single card, no, give up. The opponent will have a counter.
I think what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is.
You have a better life then. Don't even bother learning. Unless we are talking about the first Yu-Gi-Oh! The original one.
I think what's the older Yu-Gi-Oh! Game and younger Yu-Gi-Oh! Game.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Okay, the older ones are up to 2010. So Tag Duel, old one. Forbidden Memories, even older. Forbidden Memories is so fun. If you don't know, Forbidden Memories takes about 5 hours to speedrun.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is difficult in modern play.
It's an interesting to hear the explanation of a game I played so much.
Did I do good? I did good.